Mike, what did we decide on the solid waste? Are we going to do the whole thing on the 23rd?
No, you're gonna have to hearing.
Okay, that's right. All right, so, okay, let's go on down through. Next is meeting of the governing board of the Wasatch County SSA number 1. We have a resolution. Generally in the past we've conceded these, and if there's, well, depending on comments and whatnot, we would anticipate that we perhaps can pass this budget this evening and wouldn't need to reconvene, or wouldn't need to do that on the 23rd. So, Bill, you presenting this?
There is no amendments for 2015 because we will, as you can see up here, we have budgeted almost 805,000 or 918,000, and we're only going to come in about 805, so we'll be way under budget. The 2016 proposed budget is $936,645. Everything up there is the exact line items is what you see.
And just to make note, there's no tax monies going into this, and this is all revenue generated by user fees.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? Any other questions from the council on SSA number 1? Seeing none, we will open this up for public hearing. Any comments or questions from the public? Okay, seeing none. We have this. Let's see, I just realized it should you be doing this one, Steve? That's your signature. We have a resolution that we can pass tonight to approve the budget for SSA number 1. It's under resolution number 2015-12. So, I guess we could just...
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to go ahead and approve resolution 2015-12, approving the operational budget for Wasatch County SSA number 1 for the calendar year 2016.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, Councilman Banger.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Dale.
Okay, our next item is Wasatch County meeting of the governing board of Park and Rec SSD. Now, I wonder if we should have jumped. Do we need to jump Skip on this, where he's, or can we just keep it under the same? Okay, who's going to present this area all ready to go?
All right, presenting the 2016 budget for the Parks and Recreation District. There are no amendments for 2015, so no changes on that. If you look, total proposed revenues are $2,684,044, with expenditures matching that. If you kind of look at the line items, the biggest changes I'll go over are under Parks and Recreation, kind of our general budget. The biggest addition under that budget is about $164,000. That's due to some additional employees that we're gonna propose to hire for the district, and then with the new ball diamonds coming online, some equipment to help maintain those, as Councilman Good kind of alluded to earlier.
Good.
After that, or got Good. Good, sorry. Too many Goods in the valley. Now we got a Good. But
good.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got equipment that we need to purchase, such as mowers and stuff, and then maintenance on that equipment, mower blades, just keeping them maintained. And then in addition to the new ball diamonds, your fertilizers and stuff to help maintain that kind of, the sports turf and stuff there. So that's the biggest changes in the department. There are some changes. If you look down at rodeo, it's gone from 110,000 to 127,000. The reason for that being is the payouts per event went from 5,000 to 7,500 per event. But as discussed in previous meetings, what would pay for that is the sponsorship and advertising money that would be brought in. The department's getting. Other than that, it's not a lot of changes.
County fair increase?
County fair increase just due to the increase in the county fair, the size and more people coming. We had record numbers this year, man, in all of our events. I think the rodeo almost sold out Friday and did Saturday. Our party in the park, we served close to 2,800 hot dogs. The barbecue, we served over 800 people there, so a lot of people attended the fair this year, so we adjusted for those numbers in all categories, livestock, everything. So
as you look down, some of these have gone down, like New Horizons and so forth. Is that based on
yeah, that's just based on
decreased
not necessarily decrease in participation, a decrease in a program. For instance, our ceramics, Twyla, our ceramics teacher moved, and that was a very popular program under our New Horizons. So until we can find an instructor for that, those monies aren't going to be accounted for until we can find instructors for those New Horizon programs.
Any other questions from council?
Yeah, we have a comment.
I got a comment. Notice a large part of this is not offset by swimming. There's no swimming away, so that 90,000 is not going to be there, which offset a lot of that. Plus, we're contributing almost 13,000 to the fund balance.
Right, and we've discussed in rec board meetings, all things swimming is out of the department now. The school district approached Tom, seeing how we don't own water. They wanted to oversee the programs and look for a revenue source there. So as of July 31st, they took over all swim lessons, the swim team that the Parks and Rec ran, water polo, things like that. So Dale's right.
That's the decrease there.
Right.
And with that given, even though there's some increase, you'll notice the total from last year's not that much more.
Right. Right.
Mr. Chairman, I had a question. So as far as revenues are going to continue to increase because your programs are becoming more and more popular. I'm just curious about the new ball diamonds. What kind of impact will that have on the revenues? Is that going to bring in?
I believe it does. I believe it will. In fact, it will. We've had several entities, private entities, your competitive baseball, competitive softball entities that want to come into the valley. How this is going to affect the ball diamonds is we're going to be able to host more teams in the valley and bring more indirect dollars into the valley. But on top of that, we'll be able to provide them more fields that our department rents per game on a per game basis. On top of that, we've got soccer fields, stuff like that entities have started to hone in on this valley of running a lot of tournaments that way as well, and looking for land and fields to run their tournaments on. So I do believe there will be quite a significant increase in revenue off of that.
A lot of that revenue will be offset by increased expenses, but do more labor in that.
Absolutely.
The benefit is the indirect benefit.
That's why I brought up an indirect dollar. I suspect, the department as in a whole, as when we're renting out fields, it is gonna offset with more employees, equipment to maintain and such. But as Councilman Farrell brought that up, indirect dollars, a lot more people will be here in town.
Can't get a hamburger on the 4th of July,
But yeah.
Or have a room to stay in. Doug's not here.
Okay, any other questions from the council?
Could we correct the spelling of the word soccer, please?
So, you don't like the OR?
No. Soccer or something else.
I should have got my white out, for at least for the overhead.
Yeah.
I didn't type that, so.
Okay, if there are no other questions from the council, we will open up the Wasatch County Parks and Rec 2016 final budget. Let's see, did you have any,
No amendments,
Okay.
no changes.
So the public hearing for the Park and Rec budget is now open for public comment.
Heath, what constitutes the miscellaneous revenue? What comes into that?
Miscellaneous revenue, let me look into my notes.
Is that tournament fees and things?
Tom told me.
That could be sponsorships and things like that too, could it not?
Yeah, so what it is like demolition derby revenues, that type of stuff. Sponsorships, stall rentals, stuff like that, that comes into the department. That's where miscellaneous revenues go to.
And those have been increasing, so it reflects an
Absolutely, yeah.
increase.
Yeah, as we reported in our rec board meetings, the stall rentals are doing very well this year, yeah. So that's what goes into our miscellaneous revenue.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the council? Or from the public, sorry. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. And council, we have, again, we can pass on this evening. We have the same resolution number for this as it's a different department. It's resolution number 2015-12. If you want to consider that.
I don't anticipate there being any changes to it, so I'll make the motion that we approve resolution 15-12 for the Wasatch County Park and Recreation budget for 2016.
Second.
As presented, we have a second. Any discussion? Councilman Vanderman?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Get your wings on that. Okay, thank you. Our next one is meeting the Governing Board of Solid Waste SSB. We will discuss their proposed budget, and then because of another part that we need to talk about at a later meeting, we will consider passing this budget in our meeting on the 23rd. You want to have it twist that still here? There you go. So Kelly, if you want to present budget,
Yeah, I've had no changes in my budget since the last time.
do you have anything on the 2015, any amendments?
I do, I've got amendments on 2015.
Yeah, let's look at those first.
First one will be on the permanent employees. We need to amend that one because I had 2 guys hired. It wasn't budgeted. But of course, everybody knows I just become a special service district, so I'm working off Kemper's budget. And most of this stuff he put in place. Yeah, plus we had to pay Ken out on his vacation, which he took a pretty good hit.
School district, they can't allow.
What's that?
Do we have the information on the amendment?
I've got it.
Yeah, they handed them to us.
It's in your box.
It should be in the box, yeah. Probably with the stuff, it's right here if you want to look at it, if you don't have it. And then we have the 16, because it's the same one we got earlier. Did you have anything else to explain on that, Kelly, or is that pretty well?
No, and then on the equipment, it went over because I had a front load truck bought out of that, plus 2 trailers. But like I say, it was approved by prior, approved by Canberra. Oh, I didn't do it. Okay, the other director.
Okay, council, do you have any questions on the
Do next year.
2015 amended budget?
Pardon me,
Oh, I just asking a nice questions.
that was a good time to get, sir.
Okay. Okay, we will, seeing none, we will consider passing that on our meeting on the 23rd.
We can pass that.
We could pass that.
Amendment,
I make the motion, we approve the amendment to the 2015 budget as been presented.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the amendments to the 2015. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, just one item on that. As far as rate increases, they were calculated in the revenue section there, right?
you will be,
Well, that was
For 16.
for 16.
15 still.
Oh, well, 15, okay.
Okay, Councilman Bangerter?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So we passed the amended budget for 2015. Okay, Kelly, you want to present the 2016 budget?
Just, yeah, on my increases, nothing's changed from what I told you last time. The last council meeting, I'm still the same. Nothing's changed on it. Represented it in November. Yeah.
Now, we discussed, when you came to the meeting in November, we discussed the rate increases,
On the scales.
potential, and we didn't get that listed on here to consider tonight. So
Yeah.
we need to have a public hearing on that, Mike. When do we decide?
23rd.
So we'll have a public hearing on that on the 23rd. So that'll be the only item we have at 6 o'clock on the 23rd. Hopefully we have everything else done and then do that on the 6 o'clock and then
Okay.
be finished with. So we'll need to do that part on the 23rd, and then after we've done that, then we can approve the budget, correct?
And then we discussed about the cleanup too. And I don't know, we gotta discuss that again. I don't know if you guys approved on that. I never did hear.
I thought that was a council. What do we do? I know we talked about
I never
it.
have
We talked about it, but we didn't make a decision. Is that something we need to do, or can Kelly just implement that?
I think that's maybe what we talked about. What do you think, council?
That's
And
what said,
I think the board of the SSD would have made a determination based on Kelly's recommendation.
You're talking about the date changes for next spring, is that right?
yeah, just do it for a month instead of 3 months. I'll keep the place open later at night, so people will get off at 5 and come to 6:30, and we'll do it for 30 days instead of 3 months. It's a huge hit to me. I mean, you can see my increase of what we hauled out to do, Shane, I'm way over on that, as part of my budget that I'm over on, and that's just from giving out free loads.
Why don't we put that on the 23rd too, and just so we cover to make sure that we give the public a chance to respond to that. And so we'll do that as part of that public hearing, along with the other rate increase on the 23rd.
Okay.
Okay? That's, as we meet, let's make sure we get it listed on the agenda, so we cover it.
So what do I need to do? Has that already been put on there? Okay, cool.
You got it, Michelle? So we'll have that, we'll have the rate increase, and then we'll have the adoption of the 2016 budget. But we need to have the public hearing, well, I guess we can do it tonight while people are here. Because they have more comments on the 23rd than so. Any other questions or comments from the council? If not, we'll open this up for public hearing on the 2016 solid waste budget. Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing, and then we will consider adoption of the 2016 budget on the December 23rd meeting. Okay, thanks, Kevin.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, any other items, council? That's all that we have on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Wasatch County Library budget with the proposed changes.
Do you want to propose that we do that tonight rather than
April 23rd.
rather than the 23rd?
It's actually listed in the other funds of the county.
So we need to do it because
So we do it there.
Okay, sorry.
You can adopt the changes
So that then you would reflect those on the budget we looked at on the 23rd. So do you want to make the motion that we adopt those changes to the budget?
Yes.
I got a question first. Who owns that building, the library or the county?
County.
Shouldn't that be, in addition, that be worked out and budgeted through the county and not necessarily the library board?
I don't know that hiring a consultant to look at it all. If a determination is made to add on, I think we need to
Right.
run it.
The library board would not approve that. The library board would make a recommendation to the council, to the county manager
Yeah.
for an addition.
So I think it's probably okay the way they're doing it, to hire a consultant, take a look at it, see if it works.
For their benefit, to the library.
But the library does have over $1 million in reserves.
Right, but what we would do if we approved adding on, we would then go to the library and say, okay, help us pay for it.
Transfer that, right.
And I think that's what we considered a couple of years ago when I was on the board. We talked about that potential to help keep that surplus where it needs to be. We did lower the mill rate a couple of years ago because the surplus was growing a little more exponentially than it needed to. So we did that a couple of years ago.
Question relating over it, Steve.
How much of a fund balance can they legally carry over then, Bill? Or is there a limit on that? Or is it?
There's really not a limit on that unless the state auditor calls the district and says, hey, you got too much in there. That's usually what happens.
It's not regulated like the counties
Yeah.
or the cities are.
But the county auditor or the state auditor looks at those, and you look at them, and if they feel like you have too much, they will let you know.
When we talked about this a couple of years ago and lowered the mill rate a little bit, didn't we have a recommendation from somewhere that ought to be a certain amount? Was that on this one, or am I thinking of something
I
else?
can't remember.
No, it makes you wonder, you got a fund balance greater than the annual budget.
Yeah,
That's built over the years.
this is built over a lot of years. She does an efficient job running that library.
I'll second the motion.
I have a question about the motion for you. I may support it, probably will, but I'd like to go out, if we got time, we can put it on to the 23rd. I'd like to go out and look what they had in mind, so I kind of get a sense of it.
Well, I don't think that that's why they want to hire the consultant, so that we can get a good plan in place. It may come, as the board says, it's not a good idea, or we don't come up with anything.
The consultant might say that.
Well, the consultant will probably
There's not much chance.
I'll tell you what you have. But what I said was that the board may not.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Based on what the consultant
Right.
said, they might say, no, we're not. We don't.
I'm with you. I'd just like to go and look at it. I don't have any problem with the increase, obviously $1 million sitting there, but I hate to spend it frivolously without.
No, I
checking
agree
it
with that. I agree with that. That's why I'd like to approve it and get the consultant and just get a professional opinion on it and then go from there.
Okay, so did you want to make your motion? Oh, was it, I thought he was seconding the comment on the something
Oh,
else.
no, I was saying that.
So repeat your motion again, because it's been a bit.
The motion was to approve the changes to the county library budget.
So that those changes could be reflected in our budget we consider on the 23rd.
Yes.
Okay, and we have a second on that motion. Any discussion on the motion? Councilman Banger? No.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. So, increase. Passed. All right. council, any other items, any other,
We have need for another closed session for personnel.
you'd like to propose? Okay,
Can I just bring one thing up real quick?
you bet.
It was mentioned, concern, we are increasing the budget, and with that, it's proposed that some wages are increased. I just wanted to clarify that on the county general fund side, that would be reflective of a decrease in the general tax rate to the citizens of the county. Because of the increased value of properties that are coming here, the county will, even with the proposed increases, will see a decrease in the tax rate to the citizens, to the property owners of the county. So that automatically adjusts that way for the state code. So I can't speak to the school district and the other funds that are reflective of people that pay their taxes, but we're only 14% or so of that. But our portion, the tax rate will actually go down with the proposed budget.
I was gonna ask that question. I've got written in the notes from when we met on the 4th that this 12.66% change from 2015, it really only reflects a 0.1% actual increase over the
Correct.
budget.
But to the citizens of the county, when they get next year, if this were to pass, they get a tax bill, they'll actually see a decrease in their rate, the tax rate.
To raise that money.
And I think we'll see legislation this year to rectify that on the state side, to adjust the truthful taxation.
Yeah, and that's been a difficult thing to dance around for counties, because in good years, those tax rates go down, but in bad years, you can't raise them without truth in taxation, and it makes it really cumbersome for a county to, and all that happens kind of automatically, you don't even get control of it.
Yeah. To get back to what you need to keep doing what you were doing,
Exactly.
you gotta have the public. Okay. We have a motion or a motion to go into closed session for personnel to discuss some other things.
Just note this is a continuation, we didn't finish.
A continuation of the one we did before. So at the conclusion of that closed hearing, we have no other council items. So at the conclusion of that closed session, we will adjourn our council meeting for tonight. Just again, for the public, we will be meeting on December 23rd for consideration of passing the budgets that we talked about tonight. So it'll be in the 4 o'clock meeting except for the solid waste portion, which we'll have a public hearing on the 6th.
That will be in this,
It'll be right here.
here,
Yeah.
because we have the Waldsburg for that night as well.
The which?
Waldsburg, 23rd, correct?
No, they didn't. They just moved, well, we got the vote on that, yeah, but it's not a public hearing on it. It's just for us to propose or to consider the study that they proposed.
Yeah, at one point we had that set up at the senior citizens center. I think it's back here now, correct?
Well, he was considering, depending on what the planning commission did, that would be December 10th at the senior citizen center. But based on what the planning commission did in the meeting in Waldsburg, they proposed to us to do whether we would approve a study. And so that's what we'll be talking about. We'll do that during our meeting on the